This is from the morning show on Twitch, but now that you're watching this on YouTube, you should like and subscribe and the stuff that's helpful and free. I feel compelled to watch this Tyler the Creator interview because of some of the clips that I've seen from it. It's like 30 minutes, and I'm probably gonna interrupt it a lot. You've been warned. Boom, boom. I'm also very curious about this platform. This is the Maverick. This is Mavericks by Mav Carter, and it's from Spring Hill. So all of this, I think Spring Hill is LeBron's platform. I think that's his production company, and Maverick is like one of his homies from Cleveland who has built a media empire with him. I think they used to do the barbershop show together and other things. So let's see what Tyler has to say on Mavericks.
That I'm like one of your cutest homies.
That laugh was slightly uncomfortable. Mavericks. I automatically think they should have came up with a better name for this. I don't like that it's Mavericks with Mav Carter. I think that's lazy.
What did you do today before you got here? What have you been up to?
What was that voice? He sounded like he needed to clear his throat before he spoke.
Huh?
What have you been doing today? Literally today.
I was just at the office.
Doing what?
I woke up. I saw my mom.
You woke up at what time?
5:45.
To do what?
Oh, you want me to tell?
I want to know what a day in the life of Tyler the Creator.
This cannot be his voice the entire time. This is not sustainable. He does sound like Super Dave.
Just like a normal day.
Woke up at 5:40.
I do have YouTube Premium. It is one of the greatest purchases I've ever made, and I continue to make every month.
5
To do what?
to look at some photos. I put some bedding out. I announced bedding with Parachute out today. Some sheets and like bedding that I made. Had to look at
Oh, he made bedding. That sounds fun. Making bedding.
those photos. Do some back and forth. Ran on the treadmill for 11 minutes. Went in the sauna for like 9, and I showered. Yeah.
Real quick, also on YouTube Premium. It's good for avoiding ads. Like, so yeah, when I'm watching YouTube now, if I'm at somebody's house or something, I'm watching YouTube and I see ads now, it hurts me. But the other thing is you can play videos with your screen off, which is a fucking game changer because most of what I do in the car is listen to YouTube videos.
Saw my mom.
I love your mom, by the way.
Went to the office, walked to get some food, walked back, did some stuff, ate a donut. It was delicious.
What kind of donut?
Regular glaze. I want it regular. I want that nigga to have no personality at all. And then I came here and then ran into some shirtless nigga.
What does your mom mean to you and your all your sense of creativity? Was your mom creative like that, or did she?
She let me do. I have real life only child energy, but I have a sibling. Look, that nigga, he was like, "What the fuck?" No, I have a sibling, even though, but my mom like loves me so much.
So she treated you like a
like true mama's boy type shit, and she let me kind of like just be and exist, but like was on my shit. Like when I turned 12, she was like, "All right, nigga, after this little cake, I'm gonna teach you how to like wash your clothes, and when you turn 14, you're gonna apply for a job. So when you turn 15, your worker's permit is like." She raised me on some like independent, be on my own shit, but also like I got so many hugs. The older I get, the more I realize a lot of niggas didn't get a lot of hugs as
course
children,
not,
and
yes.
I got so much
From
and
your
I'm
mom.
From my mom, and I'm so blessed and so great.
Is that a thing that people not? I heard that it's a thing that people's dads don't say "I love you" a lot. Like I remember when I was a kid, like me and my dad had to like talk about that, and like we had to like build this framework to make it feel okay for us to say "I love you" to each other. I remember that, and I remember it feeling like an obstacle or a challenge. But then we did that when I was little, and so then it was fine. But he's saying that I guess there are people who don't get a lot of hugs from their mom, and I guess yeah, I have friends with some moms who weren't the best, so maybe that's the case. But I feel like the mom hug is pretty. I feel like moms hug pretty frequently. Is what I feel like.
Grateful that like I grew up in a house full of love.
Does she know creativity would be a job for you? Or did she just think you was this cool little weird
You know what you
Southerner?
want to say.
Did she just think, oh, I got this little cool weird son.
You know what you want to say.
I'm gonna let him flourish.
Hey, Maverick think I'm a little but he don't want to say that because he like his job.
Yeah, those shoes
I'll
are
say it for
crazy.
you. This nigga Maverick think I'm a little and it's okay.
No, I want to know, does she really think you can be who you are and like make a job of that shit?
I think every parent has a bit of delusion where they're like, oh, my son is gonna be gay. But also like, she's like, nigga, just don't be stupid and go to jail. Yeah, play your little keyboard, nigga, I gotta go to work type shit. Like, which is normal, but
This guy Tyler, and I just got to say this because I keep getting distracted by it, especially in contrast to Maverick Carter. This guy Tyler has the smoothest skin I've ever seen on a person. This like, is he lasering? What's happening? It looks like there was never any hair on his face ever. Like it's never happened.
but she's so proud and she's my biggest fan. It's annoying sometimes, but you gotta think she farted me out.
Of course.
So when she
Farted.
sees like this thing
that she made.
that she made and it's like winning awards and like when I did the Louis Vuitton thing, like she was just she started crying on the phone.
I'm sure.
And when I got my role, she started crying.
Yeah, that's
and
in one of your songs when you
yeah,
pulled up her
but the
house.
way that she grew up, she never would have thought she would see one of those things. She grew up in a fight or flight type of environment. So to see something that she farted out, do these things and change lives and be successful and just stay focused and not, you know, I haven't been in jail. I don't have a drug problem. I haven't beat no one up. I don't have a sex addiction. I'm like good. I'm a good kid in her head and in real life. And like everything I said I would do, I did to her. She just like, what the fuck? But a lot of that wouldn't have been possible if she didn't really put like the I don't give a fuckness that I have
Of course.
in me.
Yes,
like
yes.
for real.
When did you know making shit would be your life?
Man, so, and I'm going to keep interrupting this because I feel like I have to add something to this. I can't just sit and look at it. But he just named a bunch of problems he doesn't have. I find myself wondering as he said that, first of all, is all that true? And secondly, if all of that is true, does that mean he doesn't have any vices? Because I just find that hard to believe, I guess. I find it hard to believe that he doesn't have any vices. I find it hard to believe that anybody doesn't have vices. And I feel like people who have a lot of resources, especially if they achieve those resources because of their own creativity, will, or imagination, I feel like those people end up indulging in their vices the hardest because it just becomes easy to do so. So I don't know. I just found myself thinking of that as he said that. Like, wait a minute. If he's managed to become as successful and rich as he is without having any vices, that's like remarkable. But then also, I think the question then becomes, okay, well then, socially, are there any challenges there for him? And I know he used to be in a big crew, and a lot of them got mad at him because he kind of stopped working with them. So I don't know. There may be something else there, I guess. But I'm very curious now.
I was a real life child who only cared about music. Like on my birthdays, 6 and 7, I just wanted CDs.
Who did you love the most? You've obviously talked about Pharrell a lot, but who was the one that stuck out to you early?
My favorite shit was like Sade and Erica and things like that. Like that's like the base of where I make music from, like soul stuff like that. And then Eminem, like, you know, you're 7 years old and
7? Jesus
My Name Is and Guilty Conscience comes on the
Christ, my God, he was 7 when that came out. I forget I'm that much older than him. I was in college when Hi My Name Is came. I was listening to Eminem pre Dr. Dre in high school, like in Eminem's underground stuff. This guy was 7. That's wild.
The Box. I don't know if you know what the Box. Do you remember
know
the Box?
exactly what the Box.
I think that was channel 39.
I never got in. I still would love to call and request something.
Dude, sick, right?
Yes.
And you have that, and he sounds like a cartoon character if you're 7 years old. So that was sick. But then, like, what Missy and Timbaland was doing at the time was like incredible. Nicole Ray, you remember her?
Yes.
She had a record called Eyes Better Not Wonder off of her first album. Missy and Timbaland and those guys did that album. And that's the first record I heard that's in a 3/4 count. I don't feel like explaining exactly what that is, but I'll show you later.
Who taught you all of that shit? Like, where did you learn music?
I just learned it listening and just studying and stuff.
Piano, taught yourself?
Yeah.
Like, just bought one in the crib? How did you teach yourself?
In the 7th grade, I found myself printing out She's Alive by Andre 3000 off the Love Below and thought I was gonna teach myself how to play it. Couldn't read music. I'm a fucking idiot.
That's hilarious.
So I just learned it by ear, and then from there you go from playing two notes to
But that
three
you
to
must have to
four.
be patient as fuck to hear it and go, where is that? Because you have to find the sound on the.
Yeah, but patience is relative depending on what you care about.
That's true.
That's all I wanted to do. So like,
That's a bar. That's a bar. That's the whole time is relative thing. Because if you're enjoying yourself, there's no such thing as time.
it wasn't like, oh, I want to hurry up and do it. Like I enjoyed figuring it all out. Like probably anyone in the 70s who like learned an instrument, you just learn shit once you just go
Do it
for
over and over.
Which is interesting now. It's cheat codes, which is super cool, but also like my boomer ass is like, when like a kid could just be like,
You can't be a boomer and a child at the same time. That doesn't work.
I want to make a song like Pokey Dokey and just go to YouTube and do a tutorial. And to me, while that is kind of cool, you never develop your own thing because like you don't spend the time figuring shit out. And a lot of the stuff I figured out is just accidents. And
Yeah,
you,
on
like,
the road to trying to find something,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I thought I was going this way.
and
but I
like
actually fuck
something
with
that's
this.
a habit because you have the cracked version of Fruity Loops and you can only do this, or
I had that cracked version of Fruity Loops.
like my
Also a cracked version of Cool Edit that I used to record on for years.
whole first album, Bastard, I put out in 2009. I had a cracked version of Fruity Loops, so you couldn't save the beats. So I would have to make a beat or whatever, and then if I had another idea, I just have to export that beat the way it is.
I think it
and
was Cool Edit Pro.
That's it. So you can't.
Because you couldn't go back in later on
I
it.
couldn't do anything. So because of that, like every choice I made was like,
Cool Edit, the Cool Edit cracked version was registered to some guy named Peter Quistgaard, and everybody who I knew that used Cool Edit had the Peter Quistgaard crack.
what's the word I'm looking for? It starts with an I. Intentional. My brain farted. Thank you. Everything was intentional. So because of that, like you get a finer ear for certain choices because like, damn, I gotta leave to the skate park in 15 minutes, which means I have 13 minutes
I'm on a clock.
to
man.
do this shit. And
That's
then,
like a,
Thanks, Peter.
a spy with a little bomb. Like, don't
Yeah,
pull the red wire.
exactly.
Yes,
So-
you're gonna fuck the whole thing up. One of my favorite things I ever heard you talk about was being a rapper. You described being a rapper, which making music and writing words are mutually exclusive, then they come together. Where did you learn that, like that being like, because that's different than playing the piano. And what made you want to be a rapper?
the first raps I wrote, I was 7, and it was to the second half of Positivity by Black Eyed Peas on their first album. It's like this bossa nova instrumental.
That's
that
their
Will.i.am
first
put
album's
together.
great,
He's
by
a
the way.
genius. I called him a bitch publicly.
Why'd you call Will?
Because sometimes he's a fucking hot dog.
Well, he
and
gets some people, he does get on your
I got a Will.i.am story I'm going to tell one day on here.
nerves, but I think it's a part of
One day I will tell my Will.i.am story. Not today, but someday.
his character.
But their first album was fucking fantastic. The first Black Eyed Peas album is incredible.
Will.i.am is a fucking genius to me, and those first Black Eyed Peas albums are like crazy. He's super smart and super dialed in, and even his pop Black Eyed Peas stuff is super genius. Like, I love Will.i.am. I'm actually hit him
Joints
up
and
after this.
jams
Be like,
is the shit.
hey, like, I know you probably working on like an electric scooter or some shit. Like, what are you doing?
Wait, so you were saying your first rap?
Yeah, so I wrote to that, and I was just writing about like doing chores and like shit that a 7-year-old rap about. Like, nigga, I had the ill purple Nintendo 64 there. But what I liked was like, whether it was like growing up in LA, you'll hear a DJ Quick or like a Mac 10 Ice Cube Snoop Dogg song. These songs were like about things. Like DJ Quick always made records about a specific thing. Like
He did
pitching
rap
on a party is
raps
such
on
an ill
subject.
concept.
DJ Quick does rap on subject a lot.
That Balance and Options album is incredible.
I
But
love that album.
the
He ain't never heard that album.
storytelling from that, and I really loved
You can tell somebody when somebody's lying when they said they heard an album.
English class, and like just stories and cartoons. Like, it's a cartoon, but it's still a story, so it's still A and B. He's at home and he needs to get to the store. And you could say all these little details that happen in between him getting to the store, and like, you could write songs and raps like that.
Yeah, you make it sound very fucking easy and simple.
Well, no,
But it is the structure of it.
it's really easy and simple. Now, if you're cool or good at the simple thing,
Yes, of course.
that's a different story.
Yeah,
but
for
it's
sure.
fairly easy to tell a story.
But when you're writing songs, do you feel like now you're getting better? Like when you sit and write songs now, or
This is an interesting
forget
question.
the sound, the pianos, the keys, the bass, the drums, but like your words, do you feel they're better than they used to be going back to your old stuff?
Well, that's hard to answer. I told someone that I'm a painter, not a poet. So for me, like you said, forget the piano and the strings, and that, but I write
all
songs.
one
So
thing.
like, for me, it's the frame, it's the texture of the brush, it's the colors. It's not just like, you don't just read my lyrics and be like, oh, I get it. Like, I'm not that type of rapper. Like, you watch the video and hear the beat and hear when the drums leave and how I'm moving, and you're like, oh. That's why I like people seeing me live, because it's like, oh, New Magic Wand. It's number 6 off my Igor album. It's my favorite song I've made to date. That song wasn't as popular as it was when it first came out. That was a slow burner. And every time I perform that song, I let people know, hey, this is my favorite song before I do this song. And people will see that song live and see the energy, see how it felt, whether it's the fire, see how my legs move. And that song started gaining traction and popularity because it gave some people context. And a lot of people who didn't like that song said they saw it live and was like, damn, I understand it now.
Okay, so this is a great point, and this is a point that I feel like I'm always trying to figure out how to make. So we put a gold star on this one, because that context piece is so important. As an artist, we always have to figure out how to communicate to people what it is that we're trying to do without telling them. So he makes a great point that sometimes people might hear a song and not understand what it is that he's trying to do until they see him performing it. Gosh, it's a very, very interesting and thoughtful point.
So when you're like, well, has your writing got better? Well, yes, because I've also gotten better musically. So for me, it's not just lyrics. I don't think I'm like a Earl Sweatshirt or like a
Who's a
Jay-Z
poet, or
or
Nas
something
a
like
poet,
that.
yes.
Like, you gotta look at the whole thing when it comes to me.
And when you make shit, whatever it is, because you create all the time and making shit, but I've heard you a lot of times say, man, I'm on my fucking 25th bridge on this song. Is that because you're hard on yourself? Or is it because you know what
It's
perfect
just
sounds like?
it's just not the one. It's
And when
not
you're
the
going
one.
through that process, are you beating yourself up like, why the fuck can't I figure this out?
No, I'm not.
You're not
I'm
that
not
type
like
of person?
hard on myself like that. I'm just like, well, I spent 6 hours on this one, and this one isn't it, but it's still good. All right, well, I'll get to it and figure it out.
Because you don't operate on the clock, really. And you can't, art and time they don't sync up well.
It depends on the person, but like I know when the shit's done. Like, you just the music will tell you what it needs.
While you're
Correction.
making it?
The music tells me what it needs. I can't speak for everyone.
What do you get the most joy of making? Music, clothes, designs?
That's a good point too. I always say that about beats. is that a lot of times when I'm writing a song, I have to spend enough time with the beat where the beat tells me what it wants. The beat tells me what conversation that I should have over it, how I should speak on it. Yeah, it's just that's another interesting point.
Photography. What brings you the most joy?
I mean, music for sure.
Still
but,
music.
Like, singing.
Because I've heard you say sometimes I'm getting tired, man, making this fucking music. Because it is
Probably because of the
exhausting, right?
industry.
Yeah, it's exhausting. Sometimes these fucking kids, man, these niggas get on my fucking nerves, bro.
White kids.
All these fucking kids, the internet crazy, bro. These kids hack everything and like listen to the music. They want to know who your sister is and like what you ate for dinner. Like, mind your fucking business. Go the
That's
fuck
so
outside
interesting.
and listen to the damn art or the music. Like,
So they drive you crazy.
like fuck. Like, because of the internet, people don't know personal boundaries no more.
Yeah.
And it's normal and everyone thinks the shit is cute. It's like, we don't know each other.
The parasocial bit.
But then I get called an ungrateful asshole because I'm like, yo, I give you the art, I give you the music, high five. Why are y'all niggas showing up to doorsteps? Why are y'all niggas fucking hacking this? Why are y'all following niggas' moms home because you like a song? You like a song, but you being weird? And it's not even just for me musically, it's for a fucking basketball player, soccer, actress, but we're fans. So because you like a song, or because you...
You know, that's something that, well, first of all, I never have to deal with that because my audience isn't super huge. But I think apart from that too, I think he nailed it when he said he's talking about the kids, because I think the younger fans do have a harder time knowing where the boundaries are, because they are used to being able to access the things and the people that they enjoy so much. You know, they can hear a song they like, they can go immediately to Wikipedia and find out everything about the artist, and they can watch all these interviews and they can follow them on all their social media. And they do feel they do feel like they have all of this access to the people that they enjoy. And oftentimes, like, Tyler's in a privileged position because he's so successful already. But a lot of times when you're on the come up and you're on a record label and you have managers, they're always trying to encourage you to be more accessible to your fans, to do Q&As, to put Ask Me Anything on your Instagram, to do all these things that tend to give people that stronger parasocial bond. But it does create this environment where people have a hard time understanding where the boundaries are.
You like a movie, that gives you the permission to be a fucking weirdo. But we're no. Calm your fucking ass down.
Listen to the song.
Listen to the show or watch the whatever. High five, say cool, what's up, maybe a photo. But y'all niggas in y'all spare time, y'all hobby is being weird stalker niggas. Bro, you will get shot.
But that part is what gets exhausting.
Yeah, but I love making music.
But making music leads to that. You can't disconnect the two, right?
Well, you say you can't disconnect the two, and someone's probably gonna watch this and cut.
Yeah, Doof Supreme, you said when you started teaching your students, started probing all your online stuff, and you had to tell them something about boundaries. Just about everybody who I know that teaches, like, they have separate social media accounts. Like they all have like burner accounts where like they can really have like an online existence, because that's what students do. Like they go find all of your stuff and then they go, there's that website that's like Glassdoor, but it's for Rate My Professor. And people will put all your stuff on there, you know, and they'll make it where you have to have a separate online life.
Cut this off and this whole convo is gonna lose context. And what's gonna also happen is me talking about my favorite DJ Quick album won't be posted as much as me saying fans are weird. And then someone's gonna say, every time we see this nigga, he always complaining. When I could spend this whole interview like, I love my mom, I love Sade,
DJ
I
Quick.
love music, but
you
that's
talking
not
about
what they're
Balance and
gonna
Options
post.
was such a great album.
That's not what they're
I'm
gonna
about to listen to
post.
that shit when I get in the car.
It's a great album. So that also sucks, like, people taking what you say because they want clicks or engagement, because they get ad money for engagement and like they got a mortgage to pay. And then two, other people be like, well, you signed up for this. No, nigga, no. I like making music. I'm cute, tall. have a great personality, a little annoying, but it's mad chill and a great sense of style that's been influencing the shit for a while. But whatever, right? Put that out in the world. My first album came out in 2009. I got signed into 2010. May 2011, my first thing came out. 2011 social landscape is so different from now. It wasn't iPhones everywhere. It wasn't people being thirsty for whatever they get from the internet. It was a different time. So walking around and living and meeting people and enjoying stuff was much different up until 2016. When our phone became a thing, which, dude, technology has sped up so much, I don't even think the human brain is able to really comprehend what's going on. Used to being able to be contacted 24/7. A big switch happened. In 2024 now, with filming, with this and that, with voice recording, all of that, that's something I'm not used to.
Yes.
That's something I don't think any of us is used to. And when I signed up for this stuff, that wasn't even, that not only wasn't the landscape, our brain wasn't even
knowing that was coming.
So people are still adjusting. I'm adjusting to like, damn, everyone could see everything. You could just look up someone's address and motherfuckers is like, damn, I could know what my favorite artist is eating for breakfast and not feel weird about it because every fucking page, whether it's academic, shade room, or whoever the fuck is posting it. Now the conversation of music, of art, is gone because when artists put something out, the last thing they talk about is music. So you know what that does to a fan listening to music? If they see the person that made the music not give any like value to it, you think they gonna give a fuck about the album? They gonna listen to it for an hour and be like mid. Mid, not even in mid, they don't even use the word right. That just means it's like average. They just don't like it, but that's just their word. And because you didn't even give value to it, people can't even articulate what they dislike about it. They just say mid and move on. They don't go into detail about what they didn't like about the beat or the lyrics or this and that. I get mocked because I'm like, track 4, 2000, this album came out. I'm a musician. What the fuck else do you think I'm supposed to talk about, you dumb fuck? About who I shot, who I got beef with, about who I fucked? That should be 90% of my conversation. No, I make music. I'm a music nerd and a musician. I care about the shit. So when y'all niggas see me on TV and I'm talking about music, the shit you know me for, what the fuck?
And is your frustration because you care about this art form?
There's an interesting question that pops into my mind hearing him say that. Because what he seems to be expressing frustration with is that he values music, which is what compels him to create and put a lot of time into and refine and package and release his music at such a high level. But he seems to be frustrated that the quality of the music doesn't seem to be what the world values very much. And there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons why that is the case. But I do wonder, like, are there ways to create or increase the amount of value that people put into music? I mean, a lot of what I think drives the devaluation of the music is the access, and I say and access to artists, but also access to music projects to come out, access to equipment to be able to make music. So the market's flooded and there's so much music. And when there's so much, what becomes the thing that makes something outstanding a lot of times isn't the quality level, because a lot of people have high quality music. It becomes about narrative. It becomes about PR. It becomes about image. And I guess I'm curious, for somebody like him who seems to be so passionate about this, while he's also sitting in a powerful cultural position, I wonder if there's things that he could do to make people, to affect the environment in the way that he would like to see. And he's just one person, but I don't know. It goes into the thoughts I have about how powerful it would be if musicians stood together, in some sort of union like way in order to increase the amount of royalties that Spotify gives, like just to band together to get that kind of class power, which it's very unlikely to happen because of how little it would benefit the people at the top. But it just makes me wonder, if he feels that way, there's probably other musicians that feel that way. And then what could they do if they banded together with some intention to increase the value of the actual music in the world, where the consumption doesn't seem to be based on that? Because that seems to be what he's frustrated by. So I find myself wondering if there's something he could do about it.
Dude, I love this art form so much, bro. And there's so many niggas out right now that aren't musicians that are getting treated like musicians because they make meme records or whatever. And I'm like, bro, this niggas out here that's really special, really aliens, really talented, really putting in the work. And y'all niggas giving this dip fuck who, these niggas publicly will be like, I don't give a fuck about music. I just do this shit for money. Like,
I agree with you.
Like, get your bag. I love that. But like, when every publication is like, hell yeah, let's put that out. Man, a 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 20-year-old gonna see that and be like, man, shit, I don't really care about this shit too. This is a quick bag. Now you taking up space for niggas like me.
That
you
really
taking up
wanna be
space for
musicians.
people who really care about this art form. And like, I don't like that.
But do you get satisfaction?
And these niggas can't perform.
And this, I don't know. This is it's starting to get a little weird for me, because it almost now seems like he's talking about these people threatening his position, where I do think at the end of the day, a lot of people do mess with Tyler because of the quality of his music. I do think that's where a lot of the attention and consumption that he gets comes from. So it's like, if you know you're tight musically, you know you're releasing high quality music, then do you feel threatened by people who are obviously going to create disposable music that's going to come and go? Like, you know, like, how much does the meme rap bother you if you know that you have staying power, you have a legacy, you have a catalog, you're creating a career that people are gonna talk about going forward? Like, I wonder what it is that these meme rap quote unquote kids have that he wants. Like, that's the interesting question to me.
Nobody can.
All these niggas dress alike. Man, you go to 2003. Jay didn't sound like T.I., who didn't sound like 50. Pharrell didn't sound like Dre, who ain't sound like fucking Quick, who ain't sound like Ye or Just Blaze or Alchemist. Eminem didn't sound like fucking Jill Scott. Jill Scott wasn't trying to sound like Julian from the fucking Strokes. Everyone was them fucking selves. Now, like, everyone is doing cosplay. It's a Spider-Man meme of like the next nigga. Everyone uses the same slang. Nigga, you are from LA and you saying slime?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't say that. It's crazy how the internet has made everything so like homogenous, like nothing is its own thing no more. And I feel
like in every phase of hip hop, there's been a bunch of people copying each other. If you go back to the early 2000s, like, there were hella rappers in long white tees and big diamond earrings making club songs that I couldn't really tell apart because I wasn't into that. Like, I don't think this is a new thing. I think there's always going to be masses of hip hop artists who follow each other and have the same image, because it's an image overall that people are consuming. And there typically tends to be someone at the top. So in the early 2000s, it was like a Jay-Z, or it was T.I., or, you know what I'm saying? And people all tried to copy that, you know? And then you had artists like Outkast that stood apart and created their own lanes and had their own image. And to me, Tyler is one of the people from this generation who does his own thing. And he's in the midst, in an industry full of a lot of people who are going to copy each other. Like, I don't think that's new.
like 3 years, like, either everyone's just gonna be the same color or it's gonna pop and the next generation is just gonna go so left and wanna be themselves that it's gonna be like.
But that also comes with hip hop getting so big too. The flip side of that is like, is part of that good too, because this shit just got so big that so many people can come in and make money?
It's some kid right now, it's a white kid, regular like Caucasian man, and he's like mocking Future and Gucci Mane like rap music. And like people are like, this shit hard. It's not even like satire. It's like, I'm just joking, I'm just mocking it. But I'm like, no, you can't do. And I hold rap music so close to my heart because this shit changed my life and everyone's life around me. And I'm a nerd about this shit. This is like weird. And I'm looking at it and something about it like don't even sit well with me in comparison to someone like a Mac Miller or Eminem, who it didn't seem like they was mocking it. They had a genuine love for it, and they were still just being, aside from when Eminem was wearing do-rags in like 2006. Also, I seen this show called, I think, Painkillers.
So, I mean, if he's talking about Ian, I'll say this. I know about Ian because my son has played Ian for me. Now, Ian, when I heard the music, I didn't enjoy it, but it didn't seem to sound like it was mocking rap music to me. It didn't seem like that to me. To me, it sounded like he was genuinely making the music that he wants to make. Now, I think the complicating factor about Ian is Ian's presentation. Because if you hear Ian, he sounds like a SoundCloud rapper with purple dreads and face tattoos. And then when you see Ian, he is a very clean cut, suburban looking white man. And you can tell that, the managers and label people do use that to their advantage. They use the juxtaposition of his image and his music to their advantage. And I do think that if you see him, it triggers people because it does remind you of, rappers in the past who have tried to use their relatability as a white American to occupy space in rap that a lot of black people weren't able to occupy. Like I do understand that criticism or critique. But I feel like, and this is from somebody who's maybe heard 5 or 6 songs from the kid, I don't think he's trying to make fun of it. That's not the way it came off to me. That's not the way it sounded to me. It does sound like they're trying to take advantage of the way he looks in order to sell his music and sell his image. But I didn't think the music was disingenuous, even though I didn't enjoy it.
On Netflix, has anyone seen that show?
Yeah.
Really good show. And it's about like how people got addicted to opioids in like the 90s or whatever. And I saw that show and Eminem put out his album called Recovery. It's 2010. I was a big Eminem fan, and when that album came out, I fucking hated it. Hated it. Publicly was like, this shit is whack. Didn't like it. And after watching that show, dude, I felt so bad.
Because the album made sense.
I felt so bad about those tweets and things like that because thinking from his perspective, someone like me publicly saying that stuff and him getting off drugs and being clean and getting to a point in his life that's behind him, and me implying like, you need to, this shit is what, he probably felt like I was attacking him. I thought I was just like, I don't like the music. He was in a different part of his life and probably felt like I was attacking him. And now I feel so bad about saying that stuff because my perspective was so limited. And I love him. That dude taught me how to rap. I learned how to put words together in rhythm because of some of the Eminem stuff I was hearing and storytelling and things like that. So after watching that show, that gave me perspective, and I felt terrible. This is a few months ago. I felt so terrible about some of the things I said about that Recovery album because I realized that was a big step and meant a lot to him. And my fucking young, stupid ass was like, ugh, I want to hear the same song and dance, and I love the Eminem show, but like, he's not there anymore. I felt terrible. And if I ever see him, like, I want to tell him that, like, in person.
And when you talk about that, you're talking about a very specific thing, which Jay-Z says at the beginning of Blueprint when he's talking on the intro, where he says, this is just what I'm going through in the time. Like as a rapper, when you're writing shit, is it literally just when you're making songs like what you've been feeling in a slice of your life, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I definitely think you should. I mean, I do. That's how you get the most. That shit's like a diary or like a snapshot of that time for me. So.
And is there some shit sometimes you're dealing with your environment that you keep out of, like you're like, I'm not gonna let that go.
100%. You don't let niggas, I don't know you niggas. Like, the fuck, I give you the information I want to give. Now, the information I give you is honest.
Of course.
But nigga, like, you ain't getting the whole damn house. You could get the guest room.
Yes.
You know?
By the way, that should be the name of your new album. I don't know you niggas.
I don't know you niggas.
Enjoy
That is
the
a good
music.
name for
I don't know you niggas at all.
that's
When
a
you
good
think
name
about
for a
success,
project.
putting music out, clothes out, all your shit sells out. But how do you
Must be nice.
personally measure success? Forget what it sells, what it does, when you look at shit you do.
If I executed it how I wanted to, like if I'm like, yes.
If the vision,
Well, two things. If I executed how I wanted to, and if it's like a goal that I personally wanted to reach, whether it's buying my dream car and like walking downstairs like, fuck, I have this, or do just any idea I have, I get to execute that. Also, success is to me, success is freedom.
For sure.
Like, I have freedom. I do not have children. I could fuck whatever I want.
He said, whatever.
I could pretty much buy whatever I want. I have my dream cars. I could listen to music. I could eat fucking donuts all day. Seriously, like, I was playing with deer the other day. Like,
Playing with
I
deer?
am very successful in my head. Like, I love my life so much. And don't get me started on how I feel about myself. Like, don't get me started. Like, that is success. Like, I am beyond happy.
thank you, brother. That was fantastic.
It was a good talk. It was a good talk. Luckily, he did most of the speaking because Maverick Carter's voice, I find that grating. He sounds like Brian Pillman after various throat surgeries. I wasn't prepared for him to be so wheezy. But that was a great conversation. Tyler's a great conversationalist. I really enjoyed the points that he brought up about his process and his values. If I had been interviewing him, I would have probably asked more questions about his frustrations with the consumption of music. He did seem like it seemed like there's some real sensitivities there for him. And I'm curious for what that means for him. I'm curious of why so much of that strikes him as hard as it does, considering how, as he said at the end, how successful he is. And how in so many ways he's beaten the odds to become as large of an artist who doesn't have to copy trends, who doesn't have to make themselves over available, who sells out all the stuff. Like, it's interesting. And I guess if it's coming from a place of caring about how the craft is going to develop, I wonder if he thinks that there's something that can be done to change that. Because I feel like that part is going where it was always going to go. And again, it's reflective of the fact that as long as there's been rap music, there's been a lot of people trying to copy each other. Now, culturally within rap music, there used to be more of a shame on copying. But as rap has embraced the fundamental tenets of capitalism, then all of that stuff goes out of the window because everybody's just trying to figure out how to eat. Everybody's trying to figure out how to sell the product. Everybody's trying to figure out how to get bigger and bigger. And if you look at Drake, right? Like, Drake has had no qualms about observing trends as they bubble up, trying to figure out how to replicate the new trends within his craft. And, Kendrick just called him out for that as a part of their battle. But we're no longer in an environment where the listeners themselves are going to be like, I don't want that from you because you copied that from somebody else and that's not cool. Like, nobody cares about that in the way that they used to because it's really all about, it's just all about the product right now. And like I said, I just feel like rap's embracing of capitalistic values means you get rap music that has different values than what it started as. It started very countercultural, and this is like most genres as they emerge, or many genres as they emerge. They emerge in response to things that are happening in the environment. But as the music industry gets a hold of them, as people start to look at it as a way to make money, it loses all those values because, rap is 50 years old. And the people who consume rap now are very different than the people who consumed it when it first started, very different than the people who consumed it in the 90s. And I think all of those curves head to where we are. And so in that context, right, I think a Tyler is kind of a miracle. I think a Tyler is not, that wasn't on anybody's bingo card in, 92. Same as Eminem wasn't, to be honest. And that's why, a person like Eminem has a hard time figuring out how to exist right now, because the current environment doesn't lend itself to what it is that he got very popular doing. And I think Tyler's more relevant than that, which is fantastic. I don't know. There's a lot to it. There is a lot to it. But I don't know. That was a good talk. Glad we listened to it. And that's about it. And this has been The Morning Show.